Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story about a service engineer who got the ultimate revenge without even trying. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. They called me Level 1, so I billed them like a boss. I'm a service engineer for a business appliance, ATM, self-checkout, and others type company. As stated in other stories, in most of our contracts, normal wear and tear parts are covered. However, if a customer asks for them to be replaced or insists it's a physical issue, it's not covered, and they pay $150 plus an hour and for the parts. I won't go into extreme detail. However, the issue arose with the cash resupply people not following the program sheet to refill the machines and entering the wrong information. Main story. I went out to a machine that's normally pretty quiet, not many issues, and is well maintained by on-site staff. I went over the hardware slowly, enjoying the AC as I couldn't fathom returning quickly to the heat of the southern sun. After verifying the hardware was good and checking the software and found no issues, I called into the customer to ask what they see, when the issue started, and what's been happening. I'm given a short history and asked to re-enter the cash amounts. I follow along, and to no avail, the machine is still not working. I'm not 3 hours into a call where I normally take an hour, including drive time. No clue what's going on. I copy the log files and email them to our engineer support team and call the customer call center when the following conversation takes place. Me. Hi, this is OP calling about machine number. I've copied the logs and have engineering support looking at them and will return when they review them. Customer rep. Wait, why are you looking at logs? Who said you can copy them? Me. We don't require approval to export log files as we are the servicing provider. CR. Well, I'm looking at this machine and it's showing the hardware is faulted. Maybe instead of letting you, Level 1 people take such an advanced task, you should contact your Level 2. Me. Thanks. So to clarify, you want a Level 2 to do what exactly? I'm asking as the team senior Level 2. CR. You need to contact a better Level 2 and replace any parts that affect this issue. The entire dispenser is faulted. Me. Okay, CR. Reddit, you know where this goes, right? On hand, I had 8 parts I could replace, but I called everyone on my team. I wanted every part for this older machine we have available. I then filed a form that allows us to receive part of the billing as a bonus, and I replaced individual parts from wiring to control boards over 10 hours, patched software and new parts. The bill had to be pretty high at this point, and the issue persists. I had the logs reviewed. Andreas got back that cash resupply team input the wrong type of cash should be $10 and they entered it as $50. I called back in and not surprised it was the same rep as last time. I informed him of what was found in the logs and asked him to force the correct type from his side. He put me on hold for 15 minutes and was asked in an irritating tone, "You need to fix the hardware." I informed him the entire unit was new, the software updated, and he needs to do as I ask. He insisted again that the dispenser had a hardware fault, so I hung up and called back, getting someone in another country, and I asked him to check. Not surprised, he said there's no history of hardware issues in a week. I took to repeating my request, and within a few minutes, the machine was working just fine. I got an email from someone in the billing department asking me to contact them immediately. We went over what was asked and said, after some time, they told me that the account manager will not approve billing this call, so I called my boss and was asked to mute my phone. My boss patched the account manager into the call and asked him why he won't bill the call. Manager, why do you think my area needs to absorb the cost of this repair? Account manager, your engineer was rude and replaced too many parts. Manager, do you have proof? Account manager, the rep sent an email. Manager, with proof of him being rude? Account manager, I trust my customer reps. We don't need proof. I've already sent an email to HR for dismal. I could physically feel my manager's anger. The line disconnected and I got a call from my boss's boss a few hours later to ask about the events leading to the end of the service ticket. The customer rep call center was billed almost $80K as their customer, the bank who owned the machine, billed for time out of service to both the call center and the cash resupply agency. I had a bonus today over my usual 80-hour plus 40 hours OT usual paycheck. Also, that account manager's email is now gray in my inbox, so I'm sure he was let go for some odd reason. My favorite part's the moment your boss snapped, escalated things, and turned the tables. The rep's stubbornness and the manager's arrogance cost them $80K, while you walked away with a fat bonus and zero regrets. Moral of the story, never underestimate the expert, especially when they have the power to bill you into oblivion. And our second story. I got this. Famous last words before a boat disaster. Just read the story on composite decking tie-down fail that reminded me of this story from last year. I love boating and everything about it. I love spending money on it. I love being in the water, towing people on tubes, and just chilling. One day I was coming into the dock to trailer my boat after a really successful, fun-filled day, and as I'm on the trailer about to get out and pull away, I noticed the guy on the ramp as well trying to trailer his boat. Side note, for those that don't know, there's a winch with a line that you attach to an eyelet on the front of your boat to winch it up to your trailer to a rubber stopper to hold it down when you drive. So when you hit a bump, 5,000 pounds of boat does not go launching anywhere. Most eyelets are below the winch, so when you winch it up, it sits tight against the trailer. So you have that in your head now. This guy kept backing his boat up and ramming the eyelet into the winch stopper over and over again. I yell over to the guy that his eyelet is hitting the winch, and that's why he can't get his boat on the trailer. He tells me to shut the F up. I got this, he says. I try again, and he tells me to pound sand. So after I start pulling away from the boat ramp and I hear him throttle up, then a loud bang, I look over, the eyelet on the boat is gone, and the boat now has a hole in the bow where the eyelet was, and he's screaming up a storm. I look over, smile, finish up securing my boat, and leave. Meanwhile, this guy's facing a huge bill and a premature end to his boating season. All he had to do is listen to some stranger. Ah, yes, the classic I know what I'm doing guy. The kind of person who'd rather destroy their own property than take 5 seconds to listen. Boating isn't cheap, and I'm betting that repair bill hurt way more than his pride. But hey, at least you got a front row seat to a master class in why arrogance and physics don't mix. And our last story. I'm too poor for a test drive? Okay. For years, I've worked my butt off in construction, eventually starting my own business. It took time, sweat, and countless sleepless nights, but I built something I could be proud of. These days, I do well for myself, better than most would assume just by looking at me. But as I found out firsthand, people love to judge a book by its cover. I'd been eyeing a Mercedes G-Wagon for a while. I work hard, so why not enjoy the fruits of my labor? One weekend, I decided to stop by a well-known dealership in town to check one out. I was dressed like I always am. Work boots, jeans with some dust on them, and a plain t-shirt. Nothing fancy, but nothing crazy either. I figured I'd walk in, find a salesperson, and talk numbers. That's not what happened. The second I stepped in, I could feel the judgment. The salesmen in their crisp suits and polished shoes barely glanced at me. No one greeted me. No one acknowledged me. And I stood there for nearly an hour while other customers who'd walking in after me were welcomed like royalty. Finally, I approached one of the salesmen myself. Me. Hey, I'm interested in the G-Wagon. Can I take a look? Salesman snorting, yeah, they're expensive, just so you know. I raised an eyebrow but played it cool. Me. Yeah, I know. I'd like to test drive one. Salesman number 2, laughing. You have an appointment? I didn't, but there were multiple G-Wagons sitting in the showroom. It wasn't like they were sold out. At this point, it was clear they weren't taking me seriously. They talked to me with sarcastic, dismissive tones, like I was some random guy who'd wandered in just to look at expensive things. I could see them holding back laughter as if my mere presence in their pristine dealership was some kind of joke. I asked to speak to the manager, thinking maybe he'd have more sense. Nope. Manager. Sir, maybe this isn't the right dealership for you. We don't offer test drives to just anyone. These are high-end vehicles. He said it with the fakest corporate smile I'd ever seen. The audacity of this dude. At that point, I wasn't going to waste another second trying to convince these clowns that I was a serious buyer. I nodded, turned on my heel, and walked out. What they didn't know was that I already had my financing lined up. I went straight to another dealership across town, Within an hour, I was test driving a brand new G-Wagon. The staff treated me with respect, no stupid comments, no judgment, just professional service. And by the end of the day, I signed the papers and drove off the lot in my new ride. But I didn't just stop there. As part of the deal, I negotiated free car washes for life. The best part, the dealership had multiple locations, including the one where I'd been disrespected. Petty mode activated. The next day, I pulled up to the original dealership in my brand new G-Wagon, walked inside, tossed my keys on the counter, and said, "Me, hey, I need my car washed." The receptionist looked confused at first, but after checking the paperwork, she had no choice but to comply. Within minutes, the same manager and salesman who had dismissed me were standing nearby, watching in horror as their detailers got to work on my car. I gave them a big crap-eating grin. Salesman number 1, "Wait, where did you buy this?" Me, "Oh, at other dealership. They actually wanted my business." The manager looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. But the best part? I kept coming back. Every few days I'd roll in acting extra friendly, greeting the sales guys like we were old pals. Me, "Hey fellas, how's business?" "Boy, it's been dusty out there. Gotta keep this baby clean." They started hanging their heads and walking away whenever they saw me. I never had to say anything rude. The humiliation of knowing they lost a sale was enough. A few months later, I was in the market for a second car for my wife. This time, I made sure to swing by the same dealership first. I browsed around, acting interested, and let the same salesman get their hopes up, then casually mentioned I'd already placed an order for a luxury SUV at their competitor's lot. I walked out grinning ear to ear, knowing they had lost out on thousands in commission twice. Moral of the story, never judge a customer by how they look, because one day that nobody might be the best sale you ever lost. Well done, OP. These arrogant salespeople got exactly what they deserved. It's hilarious how they went from laughing at you to washing your car for free. Wasting their time before buying your wife's car elsewhere was the petty perfection. These guys learned a very expensive lesson, one that cost them thousands in commission. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.